All right, so we're going to demonstrate how to use a seine net. This is a tool that we use to look at the biodiversity of our estuary. And so there's a couple rules to being successful out here. So me and Mr. Rios are going to demonstrate real quick. There is a top, which has the floats, and there is a weight on the bottom part of the net that drags along the estuary bottom. So to be successful, you and your partners are going to take this net, you're going to put it on your shoulders, and you're going to wade out into the water. We do what's called the Stingrays Shuffle. We shuffle our feet by just dragging our toes through the sand to create a vibration, and that scares away anything that might be harmful out here, like stingrays. All right, so real quick, once you're out in the water and you're facing back towards the building, you and your partners are going to spread the net out. You're going to put the tips of the poles with the weights on it on the bottom of the estuary, and you want to have the back of the net just above the water. Any other teammates that you have, they're going to be what we call knuckle draggers, and make sure this is just above the water line as you're working. Now, 3 main rules: stay wide, keep the poles low, and you want to continuously work back towards shore. Now we're going to go out and demonstrate real quick and see what we can catch. Once you run out of water, that's when you're going to pick up your net. You want to do what we call making the pocket. So you're going to grab the bottom and the top and walk it up to your bucket. We'll have buckets on the shore here for you. You need to wet your hands and make sure you do not step on the net. Lots of these fish blend in with their habitat, and they are waiting to get back into water. So we're going to spread our net out right over here.
Hey, we got a little one.
So we didn't do that great, but we did get a little, looks like a silver side there.
And a puffer fish.
And a nice little puffer fish right there.
Put it back in the water.
Yep, those don't do good in our tanks. They like to eat everything. You can hear him. He's puffing up.
Yeah.
That's his defense.
What's up?
Oh, we got a little needle nose fish here.
Yeah, there's another one here, Jay.
Another needle nose over there.
Hey, Jay, look at this one. Which one is this? No, that's a seagrass. That's a seagrass.
We do get several types of seagrasses. This is thalassia, or turtle grass.
Put it back in the water.
We do get some of this more rounded grass, which you can roll between your fingers. This is our manatee, or Saragodium. We do get shoal grass, which is more feathery. Kind of like this guy right here. That's shoal grass. And then we do get widgeon and star grass. Another little needle nose there.
We got a little sardine again. I don't know what kind of fish.
This is a mohara. Oh. There's our puffer fish.
This another puffer.
Another little puffer right down there.
Two.
These are going to be your Sheepshead Minnows. They have barring on them, kind of blend in with the environment. Let's see what else we got here. Another large puffer. This right here is going to be, oh, listen to him. This is a sardine here. You can see that green stripe on his back.
It's another puffer fish here.
So you gotta carefully look through your net, making sure you don't step on them, because a lot of them blend in with these grasses and you just wouldn't know they're there.
Look, another one.
Look at how well that puffer fish is blended in.
Oh, look, another needlefish.
Nice needlefish there. So throughout the year we get different types of organisms out here, and we record those, and I'll show you our document. Another needlefish right there. You can see how well they blend in. Flounders, pufferfish, they all use this counter shading to blend in with the bottom of the estuary, and sometimes the grasses in the estuary. You don't flip any material out onto the shore, just in case there's tiny microscopic organisms attached to that grass. You're going to take it back into the water, and then we do what's called the flip and dip. So you spread it out like a hammock, and then you flip it over, dip it down into the water, give it a little shake, and that way all the fish that might still be attached to some of that grass go back out. All right, so when you're going to put your net away, you want to take your two handles and then start to roll the net. That way they can be put back onto the drying net. So your net should look like this when you put it away.
All right, after we have collected all of our fish from the seine nets, we place them in buckets, and then we identify the types of organisms that we caught. So the students use iPads, and on the iPads there are apps, and the app they're going to be looking for is an app that is for our seining data. And so this is what they'll see when they open the app. And each morning we go over the tides and the moon cycle. And so we have what's called a mixed semi-diurnal tide at the EMC. And we get 4 different types of tides. We get 2 high tides, 2 low tides. And that's greatly affected by the moon cycle. So we indicate the moon cycle in percent illumination. So 0 to 100, 0 being a new moon and 100% being a full moon. And so the students, as we're going through our buckets, are going to be identifying on the iPad the type of fish that we caught. And so we classify the organisms in 2 groups. We look at vertebrates, and then we look at invertebrates. And so the students will indicate whether that is a fish species, and when they click on the drop-down menu, I will tell them the type of fish species that was caught, and then they don't have to really worry about the quantity. We used to collect this data, but it was best that we were just guessing, really. We don't have the time to go through and count every single fish that we caught. So we're looking more at just the present or absence of those organisms. They also can choose from invertebrates, and so these would be other species that we see. Now all this data, once we press submit, down here is going to go to a Google Drive spreadsheet, and you can see starting back in October 2014, all of our data is time stamped. We started collecting the tides and the moon cycle later on, but the fish species were indicated here, and then the invertebrate species are listed in the second half of this chart. So all this data is going from 2014 to really the 2019 end of school year. And so this data is helping us identify when these organisms are present in our habitat. And so what we look at is a present or absent chart here. We have all of the common species that we typically see throughout a school year. And for each month, we indicate whether or not that species was found in one of the prior years. So all of this data and numbers here are going to indicate a catch during the 2014-15 school year through the 2018-2019 school year. For this year, if we do catch that species, they place an X in the 2019-20 school year, and then they'll also be able to do that again for the next year. And so this is really giving us a calendar of when the different types of fish species or marine organisms are going to be in our habitat. And so it lets us look at September and say, all right, well, native fish are found 5 out of the last 6 years in this case. But the guy at the top is going to be the Gulf shrimp. So this would be their likelihood of being caught. And so we'd be able to give better identification guides for the students so they don't have to look at pictures of every single one of these species. They're going to start at the top with all of our 6 out of 6 year catches, and then 5s, and the 4s would be listed, and then the 3s, 2s, 1s, and 0s.